I'm here with Paul Blakey MBE. Hello, Paul.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
I'm not too bad. The cold is going. I've had it for a while, but it's fine. It's fading. My brain is working again. For those that don't know, just give us a bit of an overview. What is ROC Angels for the uninitiated?
So ROC Angels is the umbrella organisation that supports about 100 different projects across the country, in fact, across the country and overseas now, such as Street Angels, Festival Angels, Club Angels, chaplaincy, work with the homeless, and anything angelic, really. We tend to be there.
Cool. Let's just pick through some of those then, so people can get a better idea of what it is that you're doing. So Festival Angels, I get the festival part, but what do you do as a Festival Angel? What is it you're actually doing on site?
Yeah, so Festival Angels was started back in 2011. The vision of a 79-year-old lady who lived in Thorner, which is the village that neighbours Bramham Park, where Leeds Festival is every August bank holiday weekend. And she got a real heart for the fact that these 85,000, predominantly 16, 17, 18-year-olds, rock up, quite literally, in her back garden every August bank holiday. And she thought, as a church, we should be there to do something. So she had this thought. She took it to the churches together, who said, yeah, you'll never get in there, but never mess with the 79-year-old lady from the Methodist Church. She managed to get through to the top man at Festival Republic, who offered to put up a marquee free of charge for her to go in and do whatever she wanted. So she hit on this idea of a prayer cafe. Went into the festival in year one with like 12 of her friends, who are mostly aged between 75 and 85, a few kettles, a few cups, tea, coffee, and served hot drinks to the festival goers, and they loved it. Year two, it kind of doubled in size to 25. By year three, Festival Republic had asked us to open the prayer cafe for 24 hours from the Wednesday through to the Monday. They asked us if we could do detached Festival Angels that wander around the site, as well as lost property. And over the years, we've kind of accumulated other things such as the safe air hubs. So it's just kind of a great opportunity to be now at many music festivals across the UK, just kind of sharing hope, just connecting with young people, just getting alongside young people, being there for them, chatting, having that time to chat, as well as serving them cups of tea, coffee, helping them charge phones, sort out any problems, giving away sanitary products and suntan lotion, because of course festivals always come with sunshine, and anything else really that just helps people have a safe, fun, enjoyable festival experience. And yeah, it's just an incredible opportunity, and it's probably my favourite time of year, is just to be there, just to connect with so many people. We have stuff like the Jesus Loves Festivals tattoos. So we have lots of people going to say, stick Jesus on me, I need Jesus, as well as having a selfie with Jesus on our banner. But just serving 50,000 cups of tea and coffee at Leeds is incredible, and a great kind of testimony of the incredible lengths the team will go to. Selling mugs that gives unlimited tea, coffee, hot water, hot chocolate, etc. Reuniting lost property, people that have lost items, reuniting them with their owners and having systems in place that kind of run all that, helping people put up tents, helping people navigate the site, working with lots of other agencies such as welfare, first aid, support services, Narcotics Anonymous, women's safe gigs for women, anything really that's kind of at the festival to make it a safe environment to be. So we're at Leeds, we're at things like Download, which is a heavy metal festival, slightly different clientele and very different needs, but we're still there doing safe hubs there. We're at Kendal Calling, food festivals, jazz festivals, folk festivals in Upton upon Severn. And next year, we're probably going to take on an additional 120 festivals. So we're going to be at least 130 festivals next year if they all come off, which I think is quite an incredible kind of growth from 14 this year.
That's where do you start with that lot? Let's go back. So that lady from a Methodist church, you just saw this potential for something they could do. I love that they didn't go in with this massive organisation of administrative excellence. It was just people who had a heart and wanted to do something. And I'm sure they had some administration there, but that wasn't their first thought, was it? It was what can I do for the people literally on my doorstep? It doesn't get better as a Jesus message, does it? Really?
It doesn't. No, and we still haven't got administrative excellence. To be honest, I kind of do a lot of it, and it just somehow works. We have absolutely amazing volunteers. People of faith, people of Christian faith, other faiths, people of no faith, people who just love going to music festivals and enjoy the music, but actually want to be part of a team that invests back into the festival and the people at it. So yeah, it's organic. It's kind of messy. Obviously, you're in fields with portaloos and lack of showers sometimes, and all the lack of facilities that being in a tent in a field often brings. But we've become a family, and it's great. The Festival Angel family is just amazing in terms of, we're all together, we're all kind of mucking in, we're all working and flat out often doing the festival. We're enjoying the music together. We're meeting some of the acts that are on. So Mel C, Natalie and Brugler, example this year, some of the people I met. And Jedward, I'm going to get Jedward in, of course.
Obviously.
The wonders of Leeds Festival and Jedward, and it's just such a fun place to kind of hang out and be and just kind of connect with so many people, both on the team and festival goers.
All right, let's just come back to one fact that you gave us. 70,000 cups of tea. How do you serve 70,000 cups of tea?
Well, 50,000. That was a very conservative estimate, so it may well have been. So at Leeds Festival, we have mugs that we sell for £7 or probably £10 next year because everything's going up, which then gives you unlimited tea, coffee, hot water, hot for your pot noodle, hot chocolate. And it's kind of grown in kind of what we do. So it's gone from a very simple few kettles when we started to now we have 10 urns on the go, hoping that not 2 urns don't boil at the same time, otherwise it knocks the electrics off because you're in a field full of temporary electric supplies. We somehow managed to get the water from the temporary tap that's placed somewhere nearby, and the somewhere nearby could be quite a distance away, into these urns, and we keep them all boiled up. We have an amazing, very well-oiled system. Leslie and Billy, who head up the prayer Catholic Leagues, have this amazing system, as well as a volunteer, just keeping everything going, serving people fast. And I think we have the record of the longest queues at Leeds Festival. I think we're even longer than the queue, which is saying something. And there's some TikTok videos out there on the Festival Angels TikTok of the queue at Leeds, and it kind of can go on, certainly at the early part of the day, so at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, as people are getting up and wanting their cuppa. It can be, but we get people fast, but we offer this friendly, professional tables for people to sit down on. We offer prayer in terms of prayer washing line, prayer posters that people can stick stuff on, colouring in Bible verses. There's all sorts of stuff that just help people relax. We're looking after mental health well-being. We're signposting people to things like Andy's Man Club and some of the other services that are available at the festival. So it's kind of a cafe that's there for whatever need you have. And if you want to make conversation and create a community of people to enjoy the festival with, people find that in our cafe as well. So it's a really good, inclusive, welcoming, safe space for the festival goers. And of course, when the festival goes wrong, so thankfully we've not had major rain. This year, which was the nicest of summers, I think I managed to get about 2 hours of rain at a festival, which I think is quite cool. To say that it was so wet in other parts of the country and at other festivals. But when things go wrong and it rains and it mud and tents get wrecked and going, our teams are there with spare tents and spare sleeping bags. So yeah, we're just covering all bases. So 50,000 cups of tea and coffee and hot chocolate is really just the headline of a much bigger, much more in-depth story of what is happening at these festivals.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to digest. We'll come on to teams and people getting involved later, because that's not...
We do digestive biscuits as well. Yes, yeah.
So that's...
The chocolate ones are very good. It's very popular.
Well, yes, I bet they are. Bit of chocolate, bit of sugar. So that's Festival Angels.
Absolutely.
Right. Club Angels. Let's move on to that. What's Club Angels all about?
So Club Angels, again, was the response of one of our teams. So Street Angels kind of was the first thing that we launched. And in 2010, the lady that was heading up Leeds Street Angels worked out that lots of the problems on the streets actually start inside the club venues. So she went to her pub watch, which is where all the pub and club managers kind of get together. And kind of said, look, we'd like to kind of try as Street Angels in a club. And Tiger, who at the time were the biggest nightclub in Leeds, said, yeah, we'll work with you. And so we developed this thing called Club Angels, predominantly young people who hang out in the nightclub with the T-shirts that say chat, help, listen, care. PS for Christians, ask us more if you want. And they're just there for to serve the club, the clubbers, the staff, the security, the management, and do whatever it takes to help people have a safe night out inside the club venue. And it works exceptionally well. One of the first weeks that they ran in Leeds, the lady Club Angels were hanging out in the ladies' loos, because apparently that's where girls like to congregate in nightclubs. Beyond me, but there we go. And this girl walked in, red t-shirt, and just broke down in tears. And it turned out eventually she'd had a miscarriage that day. And her way of coping, actually like lots of people's ways of coping, was to go into police city centre and just drink until she kind of could cope and had forgotten and numbed the pain and everything else. Instead, she spent a few hours sat on the toilet floor in Tiger, getting out all the hurt and the pain and the emotion. She was then able to phone a boyfriend and her parents who came to pick her up, and she went away with a list of agencies who could offer support moving forward and much more able to deal with the situation and what had happened. So again, it's stuff like that our Club Angel teams are there for. There to support the staff. We've expanded over the years. We've done student union bars and some incredible teams of students that go out and look out for fellow students. We're in some strip clubs. So some of the strip clubs in Soho welcome our teams in to support the girls who often have fairly tragic stories attached to why they've ended up in dancing in lap dancing bars and strip clubs. And we're there just to love them. We have the saying in ROC Angels, love the person in front of you. And it's not about being judgmental. It's not about criticising. It's just there to connect, to love people for the amazing people that they are, and just to kind of help and support them to kind of find their way in life, find their path in life if they're not quite on it, and to support them and give them brownies and sweets and whatever else we give out as a result of that. So it's just kind of, we're there for anybody in clubs. So there's a few Club Angels dotted around in various different guises, but just teams inside clubs, strip clubs, student union bars, etc.
Wow. Okay. Lots in there. That leads us onto the Street Angels. You said that Street Angels we were thinking, well, if we go into the clubs, actually, maybe we could stop some of the problems, I guess, spilling out onto the streets. So you said that Street Angels is kind of where it began. How did you get involved in Street Angels, and what is it that Street Angels are doing?
Yeah, so Street Angels, which I was just in November 2000 and what we're now 23 years, celebrated their 18th birthday. So 18 years ago in 2005, Halifax was known as the Wild West of West Yorkshire. People would travel from all over North England to Halifax for a night out, really for two reasons. First of all, it was cheap. You could get a pint of vodka, a shot of beer for about 50 pence. Did I say that right now? Maybe not. Maybe a pint of beer, a shot of vodka for about 50p, and there were more pubs and clubs per square mile than any other town in the UK. So it kind of had this reputation as being one of the go-to coach tour trips, certainly for football teams that were playing away. It would kind of a drop-in on the way back for groups to come and have a boozy night out, if you like. And the town had kind of become this no-go area of binge drinking, underage drinking, sexual assaults, violence, all fairly commonplace in our town centre. And I wandered around on a few Friday, Saturday nights and saw stuff that was quite horrendous, just in terms of people lying in the gutter, police running from one fight to the next fight, people randomly throwing glass bottles and people getting hit on the head with head injuries and glass. Lots of people wandering around barefoot. So lots of issues and lots of people that really became vulnerable within that whole nighttime economy. It's great when things go well, but the moment things go wrong, you can soon find out that you're kind of separated from your friends, you've drunk too much, somebody's spiked your drink, whatever the issues are, there's those issues are there and fairly evident in most town and city centres where there's pubs and clubs on weekend evenings. So I wandered around and thought, actually, I think our town deserves better than all of this stuff that's happening on a Friday, Saturday night. I had this idea of opening up a cafe that was run by the churches together, and the YMCA is kind of a safe place to drop in. Took it to the people who own the cafe. They said, yeah, great idea. We'll think you'd be murdered, but we'll say yes anyway. And a week later, I sat in a meeting with the town centre police sergeant. Went up to him after the meeting, introduced myself, shared this idea. He got very excited. It's always good to see excited policemen.
Yes.
Took it away to his bosses, came back to us a week later. Three of us sat in our cafe, and he kind of shared how excited the police were about this, how they wanted to support us, wanted to offer us training. He then reached in his pocket and produced a cheque for £1,000. Police often turn up with £1,000 in the back pocket at meetings and said, look, we'd love you to start in 2 weeks' time. Lots of agencies talk about the problems. If you're actually prepared to do something, we just want to be with you. Friday the 25th of November 2005. Of course, for anybody involved in church life, that's the quietest time of the year. Nothing much happens in November, December, does it?
No.
We said, yeah, let's go for it. Let's commit to this. And so we turned up at our cafe, having sent out emails and the local newspaper running this headline that said, drop by if you're drunk, which wasn't quite where we were going, but there we go. We turned up at our cafe, not having a clue what we were doing, if we're honest, and not having a clue what to expect. And amazingly, 50 people turned up to volunteer. A very small cafe space. So I thought, actually, we can't just sit here waiting for people to kind of find us. Let's go out onto the streets of the town and see what the needs and the issues and the problems are out there in the town centre. So our name quickly changed from Nighttime Safe Place Drop-In Cafe, which I'm sure you'll agree isn't that sexy, to Street Angels, which is kind of a bit more attractive. Teams wandering the town. By day 2, we'd gone out and bought yellow jackets so that we had a visible uniform. People wandering the town, just offering the safe kind of people, dealing with whatever issues need dealing with, as well as this safe place back at our cafe base. And amazingly, it worked. In the first 6 weeks, we helped 69 different people, ranging from early on in the evening. We'd obviously wait outside the theatre. Halifax, being the very cultured town that it is, has 4 theatres. So we'd walk people to the bus stop, walk them back to the cars, wait with them till their lift or their taxis came. And then as the evening progressed, people became slightly more, what's the word I'm looking for? Probably inebriated. We'll go with that one as it's a radio.
Yep.
And, drugs and alcohol were playing an increasing part in some of the stuff that we were seeing out there on the streets. Just connecting with people, helping people, supporting people, and being with people. I've written a book called Street Angels, which tells some of the stories from that early time. And I gave a copy to a friend yesterday who was sat reading it whilst I was with her. And she was asking me about some of the stories that were in there. And I remember one coming across a solicitor who'd obviously had a bit too much to drink, was a bit worse for wear. She'd kind of fallen out with her friends and gotten involved in some kind of incident. And we kind of found her as a Street Angels team. She hadn't got any money to get home. She'd lost her bank card. This is in the days before mobile phones had apps and all of that stuff on it. It was just basically a phone. She'd lost her bank card. And we ended up getting a taxi to her hometown, which was probably about 10, 15 miles away. And she got home safe. But of course, if she'd been found drunk and disorderly in the town centre and the police had picked her up, she would likely have lost her right to be a solicitor. Yeah. Because it's quite a strict rule. So it's situations like that, our teams are just kind of there for people that become vulnerable for whatever reason, just kind of helping people get to a safe place, hopefully home, and paying for taxi fares, and nowadays sorting out helping people navigate apps on their phone and all of that. So it worked amazingly. Just being nice to people, loving the person in front of you is quite a powerful tool that we have. In the first 12 months, violent crime in the town centre reduced by 42%.
Wow.
And the police put that down to the fact that the police, A, were willing to work in partnership with other agencies, and B, because people who care out on the streets of the town centre, simply caring for other people at a time when it most mattered. So it's kind of incredible that, just the fact that people who have time and invest who they are on our streets on a Friday, Saturday night makes such a massive impact. And again, because it worked in Halifax, it began to spread, mainly through the police network, police going to their local church going, hey, they've got street angels in Halifax, why haven't we got them? So we very quickly began to help other towns and cities to set up street angels in 2008, which is probably our biggest growth period. I think we started about 50 new projects in 2008. We set up a network, which has now become ROC Angels, just kind of support one another, to offer resources, training, ideas, tips, to kind of have that interaction between the teams. We've run conferences over the years. We've gathered people together. We've set up lots of social media sites where we share stories from the streets, from our local teams. So it's just kind of an incredible movement that's gone from Dundee to Northern Ireland, all the way through England, down to Newquay in the south. We've gone to places like Magaluf, Tenerife, Seychelles, America, Brazil, Australia. So from this very simple beginning in November 2005 in Halifax Town Centre, literally taking over the world, spreading our wings, if you want the angelic version there.
Hey, we've got to go there, haven't we, really? I'm really struck by a near 50% reduction in violent crime. I'm not surprised by that, but I'm struck by 42%. I'm not surprised the police said, oh, yeah, we've worked with other people. Yeah, of course. But actually, like you say, it's people loving people. And sometimes it can be that simple, and just saying, what can I physically do? Well, you can come out on the streets, you can be kind and loving, and look at the result. It's easy to say, okay, well, they shouldn't be drinking and they're getting drunk and that's bad. And why are they doing that? But you can go out and have a few drinks and not be well, and you can become vulnerable through no fault of your own because you don't know you're ill. Therefore, it's not much of a stretch to think, well, people aren't necessarily going to go out I'm going to go and get hammered and drunk or high, whatever. Those kind of things can very easily evolve through a situation, through not even peer pressure, just excitement of being in a group. So it's great that there are people that can say, let's get you to a car, let's get you to a safe place, because it doesn't take much, does it, to make a massive difference. Like for the last solicitor, you just got her home. I mean, it doesn't get much simpler. Here's a taxi, let's get you home.
Absolutely, and that's why we're there. And I think street angels and street pastors are a very similar model. It is a simple response to needs before they become an out-of-control situation and then require police, ambulance, emergency services, lots of people helping kind of sort out the situation. And we've seen that similar reduction in many of the towns where we work. And we always rely on external figures. We don't do our own kind of data gathering in terms of, look at how good our teams are. But if the police come to us and say, there's a 40, 50, 60% reduction in violent crime and antisocial behaviour at the times when you're out, we kind of take it that they know what they're doing in terms of the figures. And it's great to work with the police on in towns and cities across the UK, and actually to be there for them. That's one of the other benefits of Street Angels, is that we can be there for our emergency services, and particularly the police, because we're serving with them, working with them at a key time of the day or the night, and we kind of build those relationships and bonds. I was starting a new project recently, and the police said, oh, will you come and just share with our neighbourhood policing team kind of what you're doing? So they gathered them all together, and there was probably about 20 police officers in the room, and we shared a bit about Street Angels, what it entails, the dynamics of it. But we also took the time just to say thank you to the police and thank you for what they're doing. And they're working in extremely stretched conditions. There's less police out there. There's less money available for police. There's resources, there's paperwork, there's everything that kind of goes with probably one of the biggest organisations in the country in terms of stretched resources and under pressure and shortage of staff and all of that stuff. And we're just we want to work with you. We're here for you. We see you not as a person in the uniform, but actually we see you as the person you are. If you want to chat, if you want to connect, come and talk to us. We're safe people. We want to work with you, but we want to work for you and in partnership with you as well. And I heard a report back a few days later that actually the police found that so moving that somebody would take the time to say, we're standing with you, and we're supporting you, and we've got your back, and we're there with you. I think that's so important, and that's one of the benefits of Street Angels, is we can do that, whether it's for the police, whether it's for the ambulance drivers, to a lesser degree, the fire service, staff, pubs and clubs managers, workers, whoever it is in the town centre, we're there, and we save people that have got their back, which I think is significant.
Yeah, because the police, they're people too. They have a uniform. They're still people. They're human beings. They've got families. They've got husbands and wives. They've got kids. They've got mums and dads. They're just people, but in such a difficult place where they're not liked by anybody, because they're the one person that can actually arrest you and take away your liberty, but they can be there for you. And that, it's a really, really difficult. If the ambulance and the fire arrive, they're going to help you. The police, well, they might help you, but it may not be what the help that you want, maybe what you need.
Yes,
it's such an impossible position, isn't it? That's great. So what is it you do then? You talk about ROC Angels and all these different things. What's your role within all this? What are you actually doing?
So obviously I'm the founder of Street Angels. So now my role is to kind of support the 100 whatever projects that we have across the country. So I'm there. I sometimes go and visit projects to see for myself and meet the volunteers. I do lots of the social media. I pull together quite a lot of the Festival Angels teams, because obviously they're working. A lot of them are national festivals or regional festivals, far too big for a local project to take on. So I kind of pull together quite a lot of that. I work in partnership with agencies, so I'm always talking to partner agencies and kind of connecting in whatever way we can. Marketing the whole concept of Street Angels, Festival Angels, doing radio stuff, TV stuff, talking to you, going to conferences. So my days, my weeks can often look very different. But it's all about supporting the projects, making stuff happen, sharing new ideas, making sure training resources are there, websites up to date. So lots of stuff that just kind of help make all of this run smoothly and effectively, and kind of achieving the maximum that we can.
So with ROC, which is Redeeming Our Communities, that's where you and I met a little while ago. How do ROC help what it is that you do? Is that just a further extension of support networks, or is there other things that they help you with?
It is. So we as an umbrella organisation, ROC Angels, sit under the charity of ROC, Redeeming Our Communities. So we're kind of part of that team. We became part of that team 2.5 years ago now, in 2021. Sorry, you kind of lose track that with COVID. It's kind of that missing 2 years in the middle. Partway through COVID, we kind of became part of the same team. Having set up our own network in 2008, we kind of thought it was better to be under a bigger network, in kind of following COVID and all the struggles that brought, and recruiting new trustees and all of that. So we kind of now sit under ROC, and it's great to have their support and their backing. And we work together, because at the end of the day, the heartbeat of ROC is around safer, kinder communities, and that's really our heartbeat. It's about creating communities that other people want to be part of. I remember a quote from David Cameron, who obviously was Prime Minister, then left, and he's now back in whatever his role is at the moment. He gave us a Big Society Award. And I'm not being political on this, but his comment on that was that our teams create communities that others want to be part of. And I quite like that, because whether it's in the night time or festivals or through the amazing work of ROC, it's about creating communities that others want to be part of. And whatever they're doing, we just kind of fit nicely into that ROC family of projects across the country and beyond.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot in there, which is brilliant. We'll come to the website, but you talked about Festival Angels. Do you take anybody? Who are the people that are allowed to get involved? Have you got kind of rules? You need to be this old or this experience? What is it that people need to have to get involved with you?
So for Festival Angels, it's anybody over 18. We do allow sort of 16, 17-year-olds into some festivals. The rulings on that vary from festival to festival. But if they come in with their parents, we're usually okay to get them in. So anybody over 18, slightly younger at Festival Angels. The upper age limit is well, as old as you want to be, really. I mean, the lady who started Leeds Festival was 79. We've had volunteers into their 80s. And we look after one another, which is great. And again, Street Angels, it's anybody over the age of 18. Different teams have different recruitment processes, just because they've worked out what works best locally. But on our website, which is streetangels.org.uk, there's a list of all the local projects. If you do fancy signing up to a Street Angel, go and find your nearest project, follow the website, Facebook, whatever, to their site and kind of connect with them. For Festival Angels, go to festivalangels.org.uk. We're not quite at the stage yet of announcing next year's festivals, mainly because we're working with new festivals, but we'll be opening up volunteering opportunities probably in January 2024 for the 2024 season, because the season runs June, July, August. So it's just kind of run from year to year, but lots of the volunteers return, which is always fantastic. And there's this core group of Festival Angel hardcore, I think is the best way to describe them, who just turn up to most of the festivals that we run. Of course, they get a free ticket as well, so it's great to be part of that, and we get staff camping and fairly well looked after. So it's anybody 18 to 118 or older if you want.
Fab. Paul, I could sit and listen to you all day long. I really, really could. But need to let you get on your the rest of your day. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you. Really appreciate your jingles. Nice to see your mug in your hand. There you go. Thank you.
Do all our social medias. So
we'll plug it all, but go for it.
We're on Facebook, Insta, TikTok as ROC Street Angels. And we're also on as Festival Angels on Facebook and TikTok and Twitter or X, whatever it's called these days. And Festival Angels 1 for our Insta, because sadly we set up Festival Angels and we've lost the password and it won't let us reset it, which is fairly annoying. So we're Festival Angels 1 for Insta and Festival Angels for the rest. So ROC Street Angels or Festival Angels. So just go to our website, which is streetangels.org.uk or festivalangels.org.uk, and you'll be able to discover more. You can download a free copy of the Street Angels book. So it's 10 years old now, but it's still a fascinating read of kind of how we started this Street Angels movement. So it's a story of the Halifax start and then lots of stories from across the country. And there's lots of good stuff on there, videos, TV appearances that we've collected over the last 18 years of operating and growing and kind of being a family of projects together across the country and around the world.
That's so cool. There's so much in there. We'll obviously push your website as well and let people know what that is. And we post this on YouTube as a podcast as well. So thank you, Paul, so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. You are such an effervescent guy. I love your heart and passion for the simple solutions. And that's what's really exciting.
The simple things work best, don't they? I mean, we've launched, over the years, we've done simple things. We've got things like Do One Nice Thing, which is hashtag Do One #1 Nice Thing, or Do One Nice Thing.org.uk. It's just about the simple, everyday stuff that actually makes a massive difference to other people and our communities. And that's basically what it's. Street Angels are their pair of flip-flops, their lollipops to stop fighting, bottles of water, a plaster for when you've got blisters, sun, lotion, cups of tea at a festival, whatever it is. It's the simple things. The simple acts of love can make the biggest difference. I think certainly in this world today, there's so many problems and issues, and I come across self-harming and human trafficking and wars in the Middle East and everything that's going on in the world. It can all seem very overwhelming, but I think if we all commit to loving the person in front of us at that moment, at that time, and just kind of being there for them, whether it's just saying hello or smiling or passing a comment or holding the door open or being a nicer driver or whatever it is, we can all commit, and actually the world would be a much better place if we all did the simple everyday acts of love that can make a massive difference in our world. God, I almost went into a sermon then, goodness me.
Hey, you nearly go now, aren't you? That's really good. Paul, thank you so much. It's been a real joy and pleasure and a privilege to talk to you again. I enjoyed chatting to you at the Redeeming Our Communities conference in Staffordshire a few weeks back, and I've enjoyed talking to you again. So yeah, thank you so much, and I pray and hope that you do really well into next year, especially as you have so many more projects going. Pace yourself would be my thought, but go for it. It's great to see what you're doing. To see the growth, it's fantastic. Thank you, Paul.
Excellent. Thanks, Andy.
Pure 24/7 radio is listener supported, which means we are free, online and always pure because of the generous support of our listeners. If you would like to contribute financially, please visit pure247radio.org. If you'd like to find out how we use your money, please visit the Our Cost section. Any donation of any size will help keep us on air and broadcasting for free. Thank you.